Here's Twitchy Tim on stage, waving profusely in a very unsettling manner. Very unsettling. Men should not move this way. It's not the way we move. And the handshake is probably the most telling. This is Walz and his wife shaking hands like business associates, followed by a weird hug. Now let's compare that to Walz's interaction with Kamala's husband, Doug. Interesting. What's going on here?
Wow. Let's talk about masculinity for a moment. Has being second gentleman changed your own view of perceived gender roles or what it means to be a man?
This is something I've thought about a lot and something I've spoken about a lot. There's too much of toxicity, masculine toxicity out there, and we've kind of confused what it means to be a man, what it means to be masculine, where you've got this trope out there that you've got to be tough and, angry and lash out to be strong. It's just the opposite. Strength is how you show your love for people. Strength is how you are for people and how you have their back and how you stick up for other people and pushing out against bullies. That's what I believe it is. So every time I can speak against this toxicity, we're seeing it with our younger people, we're seeing it in our discourse, in our politics, in the media, you're seeing it as it relates to so many of the issues that we're pushing back on. So I think it's a problem, and I'm going to continue to use this platform every time I get to speak out against this toxic masculinity that's out there.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, the cringe level of this video,
it's over 9,000! What? 9,000?
Okay, that is how cringy this video is, okay, because Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are desperate, right? And they're desperate when it comes to male voters, because word on the street is that Kamala Harris is losing a lot of male voters, particularly in the Midwest, and also black male voters as well too. There has been some surveys to come out to suggest that Kamala Harris is losing up to a fourth of black men to Trump, okay? And that is a big problem for Kamala Harris, because being a so-called woman of color, a black woman, right, an alleged black woman, she's supposed to appeal to black folks, right? She's supposed to be the easy choice for black men. However, that's not the case, because men, unlike women, tend to think more rationally and not emotionally when it comes to voting, okay? So a lot of men are not falling for the okie doke. They're not falling for the nonsense, which is Tim Walz being some type of masculine male figure that is supposed to instill confidence in men that they're going to be getting competent leadership out of Kamala Harris, okay? Because Tim Walz is her VP, okay? That is why Tim Walz was picked, okay? He was picked to appeal to the regular white guy, right? The regular white dude. However, that has kind of backfired, because as I've mentioned before, the only men, in my opinion, that are voting for Kamala Harris are men that are either one, not straight, or two, they have low testosterone, okay? And that is probably a good summary of 98% of the men that are voting for Kamala Harris. And as a result, there's a huge gender gap when it comes to men and women in polling. If men are going for Trump more than women are going for Kamala Harris, then that could sway the outcome of the election in favor of Trump. I actually think that this is what this election is going to come down to. Are men going to stand up and take our country back from these women, right? I mean, that is what it really comes down to at this point. It's not even about race anymore. It's really about gender, okay? Because that gap is extremely concerning, and a lot of people are talking about why this gap exists. Because although Tim Walz was picked to try to appeal to men, okay, the problem is that Tim Walz doesn't really appeal to the type of male voter that Kamala Harris needs, okay? And it's not just Tim Walz, but you also have Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff. He doesn't really appeal to the type of male voter that Kamala Harris needs either, right? So again, there's just a struggle for Kamala Harris to appeal to straight, normal testosterone level men, okay? And it's so apparent that even CNN, right? CNN has their guests roasting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, because Tim Walz Everybody knows the type of man that he appeals to. And again, it's not the target demographic that Kamala Harris thought when she picked him to be VP. Take a look.
There's been a lot of conversation about young men this cycle in the crosstabs. Is Trump going to win them? And it's been kind of up in the air. But at this point, I do think that the gender gap is basically very real with 6 weeks to go until the election. And the Gen Z men vote is kind of unrecoverable at this point. So ABC News Washington Post put out a poll last weekend, sort of tracks with some other data I've seen. Harris is winning young women by like 38 points. So that gender gap is massive. She's only winning young men by 3 points over Trump. That drift from 2020 is very real. Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama twice, they could all count on young men, even if they were losing older men. That advantage is now completely gone. A lot of it, I mean, we can get into why this is happening. Some of it is culture. Some of it is Trump's macho brand. A lot of it's the economy. So Kamala Harris is running on some economic issues, of course, but abortion. That favors women. Young men name the economy as their top issue. Young women name abortion as their top issue. Young men are on college campuses. They're enrolled in colleges at lower rates than they were a few years ago. They're a smaller part of the labor force compared to women than they were a few years ago. And so if you're a young person against all of the economic headwinds that currently exist in our society, and you're trying to get access to the economy, get a job, get a loan, buy a car, it's harder. That's true for all young people, but young men in particular feel that. And then on top of that, you have the anti-wokeism and the pronoun stuff and the things that just appeal to young men. And Donald Trump, he plays golf with Bryson DeChambeau. He goes on Theo Vaughn. He talks about Zins. And, Democrats, I'm sorry, like they haven't had a cool guy candidate in a while. And with all due respect to Tim Walz, Tim Walz appeals to a lot of men. He also appeals to that guy, Bruce, in Jeff's package. He's wearing a Future is Female shirt. That guy in Madison, Wisconsin is already going to vote Democrat. I'm sorry. I think, how do you reach the young men?
Yeah, I think the woke.
Yeah, Tim Walz appeals to the type of dude that wears the Future's Female shirt. I think that is a perfect description of the type of dude that Tim Walz appeals to. And they know this, right? Which is why they have Tim Walz in this very cringy ad in which he is pretending to be a regular old dude that is fixing up his, used car or whatever, right? And again, the cringe level here is just out of control, right? Stuff like this, they're panicking behind closed doors when they're putting out these types of ads, right? This is just pure desperation.
Hey everybody, Governor Walz here. My 79 International Harvester Scout and my 5-year-old Black Lab Boxer Scout. Everything works on here, except one thing I'm still tinkering with, cruise control. So I'm gonna show you how to fix that. At the same time, we talk about creating an opportunity economy so that everybody can get the opportunity to thrive. So come here, take a look at this. I'll show you how this thing works. It's fascinating how the cruise control works on these old vehicles. All right, here we go. 345 International motor, no computers, all analog. And this is the cruise control. This thing works on vacuum, pulls, and this is ingenious. This arm is just a chain that slides back and forth inside this arm. And when it's working, works within a couple miles per hour. If J.D. Vance, along with Donald Trump, get the opportunity, the folks getting the tax cuts are going to be the billionaires. They don't care about fixing the cruise control on a 79 International because they can buy whatever they want. Middle class folks are the ones that need the tax cut. That's what a President Harris administration will do. Vice President Harris and I believe a lot of values, and one of the biggest value that we share together is when the middle class is strong, America's strong. This thing, old school carburetor, you can always tell something about somebody's maintenance when how clean their air filter is. Look, to be able to work on this thing, you got a manual. It shows you exactly what to do to fix things on this. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have a manual too. It's called Project 2025, and it's a way to stick it to the middle class while giving tax cuts to the wealthiest. Rigging our economy to make it more difficult for people. Look, they didn't give me a manual for this if you didn't plan on using it to fix your truck. They didn't create that Project 2025 just to have it set around as a doorstop. My pro tip of the day is silicone-based things around rubber, best thing. You get the wrong material on this stuff dry rots out, and this is like really hard to find. So make stuff last, invest in it, just like you hear this administration under President Harris. Investing in the middle class will make a strong America in the long run. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you need to fix the analog cruise control on your 79 International, this is the place to come. And if you want to know what investing in the middle class in a strong America looks like, follow the Harris-Walz campaign for more.
Okay, so maybe I missed something, right? I'm not sure. But what did he fix? Right? I mean, it seems to me that he took the air filter out and then put it back in and claimed that he was teaching people how to fix something. What is this? This is cringier than Mike Pence pumping gas. It really is. I don't understand why politicians do this, man. Why? Why do you do this? Why do you put out these ads pretending to be regular, normal, everyday people when you're not? Okay, you're not. In the case of Tim Walz here, he's putting out ads pretending to be a real man, right? Or an alpha male or a man's man or a normal man. I don't know what you call it, right? I mean, I'm not really into the alpha male stuff, okay? That's not really my thing. I think a lot of that stuff is cringe, right? But I got to tell you, I mean, you can recognize men that are not traditionally masculine, right? And there's nothing traditionally masculine about the Kamala Harris campaign, including Tim Walz. And he's now trying to convince people that he is traditionally masculine. And when you have to convince people that you're traditionally masculine, you've already lost, right? You've lost the battle, okay? Because the fact that you had to post an ad like this tells me everything I need to know about you, right? You're not who you say you are. You're not who you pretend to be, right? Which is why he didn't really fix anything on the truck. Although he told us he was going to teach us how to fix the cruise control. I don't think he actually did that. Again, I could be missing something, all right? I've watched that ad a bunch of times. I'm like, where did he actually fix anything? He took a clean air filter out the truck and then put it back in and claimed that he just showed you how to fix the cruise control, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not sure exactly who is supposed to be convinced by this, right? Like, who watches this ad and is like, oh, yeah, I'm going to vote for this guy, Tim Walz. He's a man's man, right? Yeah, this was an epic disaster. The fact that they even released this ad tells you that they're desperate, right? They're definitely losing men, okay? And again, word on the street is that in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, a lot of men are running away from Kamala Harris, right? They're running away from her campaign. And this is why you're seeing ads like this. This is why you're seeing Kamala Harris pretend that she's a gun owner, right? Despite the fact that she has made a career off of threatening to take away people's Second Amendment rights. And all of a sudden, she wants you to believe that she's a gun owner.
I and Tim Walz are both gun owners. We will not take anybody's guns away. We also need to have reasonable gun safety laws. I believe that we need an assault weapons ban. We need universal background checks. We need red flag laws. I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun. I did not know that. If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that. Then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
I think having Kamala Harris say, if you break into my house, you're getting shot, is different than what you typically hear from Democrats, right? Like, you think Democrats are coming for all your guns, we're coming to take all of them, and here you have a candidate saying, here's what I will do if you come into my home. And I do think that is different.
But I don't think people believe that, a couple minutes ago is that she said, I'm taking all your guns away 1,000 days ago, 1,200 days ago.
No one said she did. She never said she was taking all your guns away.
Mandatory gun buybacks. Yes, she did. She said that 1,200 days ago, and now she's this proud gun owner. Mandatory guns buyback.
It was not all your guns.
But not all of your guns. But not all your guns, just the ones that are
AR-15. I mean, to be honest, I am a gun owner. I have.
Yeah, so the truth is that Kamala Harris is not a gun owner, okay? And Secret Service would be the individuals to act if somebody was to break in her house, because she believes in protection for herself, but not for other people. Okay, she actually wants to take your guns away and leave you vulnerable to the criminals, right? That's what she wants to do. And Tim Walz is not a man's man. Okay, he's a very feminine man, and that is clear. Everybody can see it, and this is why they are pretending to be people that they're not, right? Because they're losing the people that they are going to need in order to win the election. So they're desperate, and they're putting out these ads and basically lying about their lives in order to try to pretend to be people that they're not. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.